Well, hi everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to Bill Whittle Live. It is the 31st day of January. That'll make it a Tuesday, I think. Guess what? There's news. There's always news, and there's always going to be news, and that's why we're in the business we're in. What do you like that? Yeah. So anyway, we've got two subjects that we want to talk about today. One of them is the whole idea of California being a sanctuary state, and the other one is got to do with the premiere of a video we've been working on for quite a while, a set of videos we've been working on for quite a while, called the We the People version 2.0 movies, and we're going to take a look at some of those too. So before we get started, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move this microphone. I know that's odd. Go to the wide shot because we always want people to see the maximum adventure of the second worst produced show on the internet. The Stratosphere Lounge is the worst produced show on the internet. However, while I'm going about moving this microphone a little closer to me, if you go to your Facebook page that you're looking at right now, why don't you go ahead and if you don't already like the Bill Whittle page, why don't you do that? And also see where it says sign up. If you just look up and to the right, it's kind of directly under my feet on the top of the banner. It says sign up. If you hit that button, that will get you on our mailing list. And our mailing list is something we keep you updated with the latest things that are happening. By the way, the mailing list is 100% free. And if you join the mailing list, you get a ebook copy of The Best of Afterburner, which is virtually I don't know what the price on that would be. It's virtually priceless, I think. Anyway, excuse me one second while I move this. I put it on the wrong side. I'm getting used to this show as we get going, so hang on one second. Meanwhile, let's do a small song and dance number. You know, I'm hoping that this is charming, that this kind of thing is charming and kind of what makes it different from, you know, professionally run organizations. But this thing has got to get closer, and I got to get used to putting it on the right side. Oh, there we go. Okay. You'll thank me for this later. The volumes on this program, for some reason, are very low. I don't know why, but they are. Get everything turned up to 11. Now we'll see. See, now that's just so much better. Isn't that just so much nicer? Sorry about that. Okay, so guess what, folks? California is going to become, there's discussions about California becoming a sanctuary state. Isn't that nice? A sanctuary state. It's not just sanctuary cities anymore. Now the state of California is talking about putting the entire resources of the richest state in the union, used to be anyway, I don't know if it still is, certainly the poorest state in the union, if you take a total look at the spreadsheets the way most people do, you know, assets, liabilities, in terms of debts, I'm sure we're the poorest state in the union. However, that's not going to stop our progressive overlords from maintaining their third Obama term, and that's exactly what this is all about. So, again, let's have a little discussion about this whole idea of state sovereignty, but more importantly, I think why California has decided to do this, why California has decided to call itself, or at least in serious discussions to call itself, a sanctuary city. What does that actually mean? Well, a sanctuary city in this particular case means that they're not going to obey the federal laws regarding immigration reform. And a better question to ask than that is why? Why aren't they doing this? Well, the answer, I think, is, again, wrapped up in the psychology of California and what California's become. California used to be the Golden State. California was the place where all of the innovation happened. California was the place where, you know, you had aerospace, all of the stuff that was any good at all, that was really cool in the 50s and 60s. We had I don't know how many aerospace companies we had. We had Lockheed, Northrop Grumman, Hughes, you know, I want to say Honeywell, you know, it just goes on and on. North American, McDonnell Douglas, all these guys were in aerospace. They were competing with each other, trying to make the best aircraft. And since they were competing with each other, they did it for a relatively low price. I just saw a breakdown on the results of the light fighter competition, which happened in the mid-'70s, between the prototype F-16 and the prototype F-17, which became the F-18 Hornet. Both of those aircraft that were in that competition, the two survivors of the competition, the F-16 and the F-17, which became the F-18, both of those aircraft became legendary aircraft. We still depend on them. They're still the mainstay of our defense positions on land and at sea. The only reason I bring that up is because these things happened in California. This was where California was. It was a land of opportunity. People went west to go to California to be as far away from they could get as Washington, and live a free life. And there's gold in them thar hills, and there's gold in them thar airplanes, and there's gold in them thar movie sets and all the rest of it. And it was a place where you could be a place where you not only could make money, you were kind of expected to. That's what California was for. California was the kind of place you would go to make your fortune. It was as far away as you could get and still be in America. And that reputation and that culture is a better idea. I think that culture lasted for 100 years. I've said before, and I'm half serious about it too. I'm very rarely fully serious about anything, but I'm half serious about this. I think you could make a pretty good case for the national anthem being changed from the Star Spangled Banner to Fun, Fun, Fun by the Beach Boys. And I'm not kidding about this. If you think about that song, that's really what it is. When you think about the Beach Boys sound of the early 60s, that's the California, certainly, that I moved out here to be a part of. Many people ask me all the time why I still stay in California, and I tell them, if you're going to be a volcanologist, you got to live, under the volcano. So it is such a magnificently beautiful place. The climate is unmatched anywhere in the world, but like some beautiful fruit, almost like a golden apple or something, because it's a golden state. This beautiful fruit has just rotten on the vine. It's just gone bad. It's just falling apart. California went from being the most innovative state in the nation to being the least innovative state in the nation. It is the only place left in the country that's making a serious effort at maintaining Barack Obama's third presidential term. All of these progressive ideas that don't work anywhere especially don't work here, and that's why they're being employed, and that's why they're doubling down. And as Sarah Hoyt pointed out, that there's a pattern to these kind of things with progressives, and she calls it roll left and die. And she says if you look at a progressive magazine, like a Progressive State, for example, but take a progressive magazine, economically it becomes untenable because progressive economics don't make any sense. And then what happens is, rather than adapt to a more moderate or conservative viewpoint, these institutions that are run by progressives go further to the left. And that they know on some level, usually consciously, they know that means choking off their revenue, and what was a bad financial situation becomes catastrophic, but they don't care. The ideology is more important to them than the economy. It's more important to them than the happiness of the people. The ideology is more important than anything to leftists. That's what they do. That's what they do. That's what they are. They have no religion. Their religion is politics. Their hobby is politics. Their job is politics. Their conversations are politics. They want politics involved in everything. There's not an aspect of your life that progressives don't want politics involved with, because if politics is involved in every aspect of your life, then progressives get to tell you what to do about everything. And that's the only thing in this world that I can see that makes them happy. They're genuinely miserable people as a rule, and very, very, very emotionally self-centered and vacant. And yet, it seems like the only time they're genuinely happy is when they're thinking up some new regulation or rule or tax and telling other people what to do. The mantra of these people is anything that is not forbidden is mandatory. That's the kind of world they want to live in. And it's typical of Californians. It's not unique to Californians, but it's typical of them to be the people who are the loudest about things like we're going to ban motocross bikes and we're going to ban ATVs in the desert. Well, you've never been in the desert in your entire life. Most of these California progressives have never been outdoors. What do you mean you're going to ban ATVs in the desert? Well, there's delicate desert, ecosystems out there that are being destroyed by people going out there with their ATVs and having fun riding over sand dunes. I've flown from New York to Los Angeles and Los Angeles to New York a bunch. I've flown over those deserts at 550 miles an hour 100 times, and I'm here to tell you, Neil, there's a lot of desert out there. There's a lot of desert out there. There's just a lot of desert out there. And humans want to have a speck of it just to have a little bit of fun. But that's not going to happen. Not in this state. Can't have any fun in this state. Not going to happen. So they ban ATVs in areas that they've never seen for reasons that they don't understand. And this is the California mindset now. The part of the country that used to be about freedom and having fun and going your own way and doing what you wanted to do and being yourself is gone and has been gone for 25 or 30 years. The California of the Beach Boys, like I said, was the California of the SR-71. It was the California of the X-1. It was the California of exploration. It was the California of incredible agricultural wealth. It was the California of classic movies and Hollywood that loved America, didn't hate it, and it was the it was the California of the entire Silicon Valley. All of the things that we really love about a modern life, at least the things that I love about modern life, certainly the things that keep modern life convenient, if not fun, came from California. Most of them did. And they will never come from California again until we get rid of these aging, who am I kidding? These people were aging when the passenger pigeon went extinct. These ancient fossilized dinosaurs that have clung on to this theory that makes them feel good are just simply going to ruin this state. They've already done it. They've already ruined the state. I'm going to get to the sanctuaries in a moment, but I'm just trying to paint the mindset for those of you who don't live here. There's a joke that I've used in pretty much every speaking event I ever do. When I go out someplace in the country, I'll say, hey, I just came in from Los Angeles, and it's just a pleasure to be here. I always enjoy visiting the United States. Turns out I grew up in America. It's nice to come back and visit. Everybody laughs. And they laugh for the same reason. They laugh because everybody in the country knows that Californians are just plain not American in most of the ways that count. And it wasn't this way. It wasn't always this way. It doesn't have to be this way. So why is it this way? Well, if you look at California's voting patterns, if you look at them at districts or counties, you see that California is a bright red state. It's bright red. California is a predominantly red state in terms of land area that is dominated by bright blue patches in San Francisco and especially Los Angeles and to some degree San Diego. You have brilliant red Orange County, but it's not enough. These elitists, we keep talking about elitists and people think it's a boogeyman term. It's not a buzzword. It's not. It's not. It's an all-purpose word for people who say one thing and do something else. People who are rich, people who can afford the things that they want, the people who do not have to abide by the rules that other people have to abide by. That's what I define an elitist is. And this state is the grand central station of elitism. The people who make pronouncements in California, like we're going to be a sanctuary state and we're going to have open borders and we're going to raise taxes and we're going to have regulations. You can't throw a frisbee on the beach in California. Next thing they're going to do is they're going to make sure that we're mandated to wear plastic safety helmets while we're taking a shower because, somebody slipped and fell one day and they were hurt and we can't have that. It is the most overregulated, underthought state in the union. And how did it get this bad? What happened? What happened to California? How did California go from being the golden state to the garbage state? Why? How? Well, it's pretty simple, really. Progressivism came to California, and progressivism took root in California because of a very simple phenomenon that nobody talks about, at least I don't hear talking about very often, and it's actually pretty simple to understand. Progressivism is a philosophy that offers you something very pleasant. Progressivism is an awful lot like a drug. It's an awful lot like crack cocaine or a speedball or something for people. What progressivism offers you is a sense that you're doing good, you're very smart, you're very special. You're not only a good person, because that's not good enough for people with this kind of hole in their souls. You're not only a good person, but you're better than other people. That's really important. You're not only a smart person, you're smarter than other people are too. And you're more creative than they are. And you're more special. In fact, everybody in California is special. Everybody in California is special. Every child is special. If everybody's special, then nobody's special, right? Isn't that the definition of special is unique? If you say that every single one of you are absolutely special. I suppose on some level that's true, but it defeats the meaning of the word. That's California's state motto ought to be everybody's special, because that's what's wrong with the state. Progressivism gives you the narcotic of belief that you're special, that you're smart, and that you're good and better than other people. And that's really what it comes down to. Most people want to feel like they're smart and good and special and unique, but it's a special brand of person whose entire ego is intoxicated with the idea of not only being smart and good, but being smarter than and better than other people. And those are the kind of people that have come to California and made their home here. It's a kind of narcissistic thing, and I think it drives business success in a lot of ways. There's a lot of very, very wealthy people here in California. And so what happens is this. You have a philosophy called progressivism that makes you feel good and smart and wonderful. Now, the problem with progressivism is it demonizes the rich because they're taking more than their fair share, and it's the 1%ers that are ruining the country, just ask Bernie and so on. However, you are one of the 1%ers. This is the ruling class of California. They know that they're one of the 1%. They know that they're the richest people in the country. They know that they have these kind of privileges and these kind of accesses. And my feeling is if they worked for it, it's theirs and they deserve it. But that's not progressivism. You can't have them both. So the people that govern this state basically are in a trap. The trap is this. If I believe my progressive values, then I have to be for the working man and higher taxes and more regulations and all the rest of it. And if I don't believe in that, not only am I not smarter than you and better than you, I don't have any friends anymore. Against that, you have their natural ability to want to be successful and to succeed and have their money and keep their money. So they live in this constant state of denial. It's a constant state of denial. It gets to be a point where I know, it's not there. No. The truth isn't there. This vision is there. If I just believe in it hard enough, it'll come true. And these are the delusional people that are running what was once the greatest state in the nation into the ground and will continue to run it into the ground. So sanctuary state of California is not something that knocked me out of my chair and left me gasping for air, looking at the ceiling with the room spinning around me. You know, when I heard that there was talk about making California a sanctuary state, I said, well, of course they're going to try and make it a sanctuary state. How do Californians, especially the governing people in California, because this is not true for the red counties, not true for Orange County, it's not true for the huge agricultural middle of the state that's been utterly destroyed by these progressives. But these San Francisco elitists and these Los Angeles elitists and all the rest of these rich people who have to have a fig leaf because their religion of progressivism is in direct contradiction with the facts of their life. They have to find a way to justify it. So what they do is they say, well, yes, I'm very, very rich, but I am in favor of high taxes, and I'm in favor of these regulations, and I'm in favor of offering sanctuary to the poor and downtrodden because they know that those poor and downtrodden Syrian refugees are not going to see the outside of their houses no matter how long they live. They know when they say, we're going to be a sanctuary city, says Dianne Feinstein or whoever. I didn't directly hear it from her, but Jerry Brown and the mayor of Los Angeles and all the rest. These unvetted refugees are not going to be living in their neighborhoods, and they are fully aware of this. This is going to be something that we're going to do to prove our moral superiority and our intellectual superiority to the rest of you savages out there in America. And the beautiful thing about progressivism is you don't have to live up to what you believe. You get to say one thing and do something else. You get to say the things that make you feel good and do the things that make you feel good. You get to say you're in favor of higher taxes, and then you get to ask for every tax break you possibly can. See how it works? You get to say I'm in favor of being a sanctuary city because sanctuary is important, and deeply, deeply moral and intelligent and lovely people like us, who are so much better than the rest of you savages, believe that everyone should have a home away from oppression. It's not going to be my home, needless to say, and I certainly don't want to see any of these savages in my neighborhood, but certainly there's room for them here in America and in California so long as they don't get too close to my property, because if they do, the automated alarms are going to go off and then the private police will be there and escort them away. So it's a religion of hypocrisy, and it's a religion of saying one thing and doing another. It's a religion of cognitive dissonance. It's that sense of this inability for the progressives to live in reality because reality contradicts their religion. Their religion says one thing, the reality says something else. They want higher taxes, they say, but they ask for lower taxes, and so on and so on and so on. So of course California wants to be a sanctuary state. Now, we talked about this a little bit with the travel ban and sanctuaries before, but it needs to be said and said frequently. The idea of sanctuary is a sacred idea. It's a noble idea. It's a lovely idea. But sanctuary is something that should be provided for people who deserve it. And not just deserve it. Sanctuary is not residency. Sanctuary is temporary. Sanctuary is a place to hide, essentially, to be safe from some horrible evil that's trying to crush out your life. If we were talking about a city where women could go and not be burned for witchcraft, then I'd be in favor of the sanctuary city of Los Angeles, because there'd be a tremendous moral evil involved, and that we would be providing a moral good. If we were talking about California being a sanctuary city for where Jews weren't being rounded up and murdered like they would be in the rest of America, I'd be in favor of Los Angeles or California being a sanctuary city in that case too. But who are we providing sanctuary to? Who are we providing sanctuary to, and why? The people we're talking about providing sanctuary to are illegal immigrants. That's what they are. They're not undocumented workers. They don't have documents. It's not that they don't have documents. They're illegal immigrants. We are providing it to them, and we're providing it to illegal criminals who are here multiple times and have committed multiple crimes. Now, to me, there's no argument at all, none whatsoever, no moral ground to stand on to provide sanctuary for foreign criminals who are either thieves, murderers, drug dealers, rapists, or whatever. Those people need to be sent out of our country, and if they want to put them in prison back where they came from, that's their business, but they are sent out of here and they do not come back. The hard part is, what do you do with the honest, hard-working Mexicans who are here illegally? And I know a few of these people. I suspect I know a few of them. I don't know if any of them knowingly, but I suspect I know a few of them. When I first came to California from Florida, I was astonished at how nice the Mexicans were, how kind, and how hard they worked. That was my experience. I was absolutely blown away by it. So what is the answer? Well, the answer would be something like a guest worker program. The answer would be something that documented these people, that gave them legal status, that we know who they were, we knew what their criminal records were, we knew what they were doing, we knew that they were going to be paying some taxes on the work they did here. They don't want to stay here permanently. If they did, they'd be immigrants. They wouldn't be refugees. And they could come here and work and send some money home, and the taxes would be taken out and all the rest of it. And everybody would be more or less happy. But we don't have that kind of conversation. What California is doing is insisting that these people come in here and stay for free all the time, and the more the merrier, so long as they don't get into Moonbeam's property, or as long as they're not sitting on Meryl Streep's property, then by all means, let's have all of them that we can possibly take. And so we don't have an adult conversation about this because they're not capable of an adult conversation. They want to let these people in because it makes them look good, and they don't have to pay the price. That's what sanctuary cities is all about. It's all about this moral preening. The state animal of California is a bear. It should be changed to a peacock. It should be a peacock preening itself. It should be a peacock kind of preening its feathers. That's what the California state motto ought to be. California is going to be the battleground of this upcoming cultural war. Again and again I say this. I had actually thought it was going to be perhaps a shooting war, but it's not. It's going to be a war of ideas, and it's going to be a war of megaphones and all the rest. So I think it's going to happen here. And there's something about Californians that is not just annoying to me. Back in the 80s, there were bumper stickers you could see in the state to our north that said, "Don't Californicate Oregon." And even if you go to Idaho, if you've got California plates there, look at you askew. Texas is being ruined by Californians who are fleeing the policies that they voted for in order to go to a state that's free and prosperous and sane. And the first thing Californians do when they get to Texas, other than filing a much lower tax return, is they start to vote like Californians and turn Texas into California. There's something mentally wrong with these people. They don't belong in California. They don't belong in Texas. They belong in a mental institution. They belong in an institution. People who cannot learn belong in a mental institution. And if you cannot learn, if the fact that you have to give up your home in the greatest climate in the world and go to Texas, which is not the greatest climate in the world, because the economy there is so good and the economy here is so bad, if that doesn't teach you that there's something wrong with your politics, then you need to go to a mental institution. There's nothing curable about you. You can't learn anything if you've had to uproot yourself and go across the country to get to economic freedom, and the first thing you do is bring all of the things you ran away from with you. It's nuts. It's batshit crazy. Pardon the expression. I don't believe I've ever said the S word live, but that's the hard thing about live word. As I said, it's bat shop crazy. The kind of stuff that goes on in the bat shop that we have. I keep bats. Most people keep pigeons, but prisoners pigeons. Most people keep pigeons. I keep bats back in the bat shop, and things are nutty back there. So sometimes things get a little bat shop crazy, as I said just a moment ago. So look. We're going to see more of it here, and that's why I'm in California. I like the weather. I grew up in Florida. I'm never going back to that humidity and heat. But I not only like the weather, I like being here. This is I think I need to be here. This is where the pulse is. This is where all of the bad ideas come from. It came to me in a flash. I was speaking live once, and somebody asked me why I still lived in California. But like I said, if you're going to be a volcanologist, you have to live under the volcano. It's not pleasant, but somebody's got to be the first person to say this thing is erupting. So, yes, of course, we're doing sanctuary cities and sanctuary states and God knows whatever else we have to do to make sure that everybody knows how superior we are. We're not going to be superior. We're going to be stone cold broke. We're going to be the last state in the union to come around to its senses, and we're going to have to be helped out of here by smarter people than us. And we're going to have to carry Californians into buses gently, the way you'd put somebody in an ambulance and take them someplace where they can, live out their days surrounded by people who are telling each other how smart they are while finally this magnificent state gets back down to business, and the business of lighting up the world, which is what it's supposed to be doing, as well as the rest of this country. Our commercial today is actually very simple, and that is something I mentioned during the great microphone scare of January 31st, 2017. And that's really pretty simple, and that is we'd love to have you both like the Facebook page. If you like this program, please share it and like it. I know that's not much to ask. It doesn't seem much to ask anyway. The share and like buttons are right below you there if you're watching this live. But whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it afterwards, just come on back to BillWhittle.com, and in the upper right-hand corner is a little blue bar that says sign up. It's right beneath my magnificent black feet, and that cool drawing of me as, Mr. Confident. You'll see a button that says sign up. It's even got a little pencil next to it, so you know exactly what to do. If you hit that button, you'll be added to our email list. We don't share our email list with anybody, ever. And you will also be taken to a link that will give you the best of Afterburner Volume 1. It's an ebook in PDF format or also in iBooks format, and it's the top 10 Afterburner scripts that I did, including the history of the atomic bombs and I don't know if I'm not sure that iconography is in there because it's so picture-oriented, but it was my 10 favorites, and there's some really great stuff in there. So we'd love to have you sign up and join the mailing list, and that's pretty much the end of our commercial today. Now we've got about 2 minutes left and about 3 minutes of content, so let's get moving on this. The second thing we want to do today before we go off the air live is we want to do the premiere, at least the Facebook premiere, of the first of these videos that I've done primarily in cooperation with Turning Point USA. They've funded a bunch of them and sponsored them, but I wanted to do something like this anyway for quite a long time. Charlie Kirk, who runs Turning Point USA, asked me to do some videos for young people, and he said, do you want to do safe spaces or do you want to do, free speech on campus? And I said, Charlie, my experience with young people is they call themselves socialists because they don't understand anything about socialism or money or capitalism or any of it. So these first 3 videos are money, socialism, and capitalism in that order. I wanted them to be as small as possible. I wanted them to be a one-issue little hand grenade that could give you some information about how things work. So the first of them seemed to me to be the one thing that nobody understands. Everybody knows what money looks like. Nobody knows what money is. So we're going to run for you now about 3 minutes and 5 seconds of the first of these We the People version 2.0 videos. It's called Money. And as soon as we're done, I'll come back and make a couple of quick comments, and we'd love to hear what you have to say about it. The dictionary says that money is a medium of exchange. Okay. An exchange of what? If I give you 2 green pieces of paper with 20 printed on them, that's $40. And in exchange for that, you mow my lawn, what is it that we have actually exchanged? Well, the answer is not work. You could sweat for an hour using a pushing mower or an easy 10 minutes on a riding mower, and I don't care, it's still worth $40 to me. So we're not charging money for how much effort you put into the job, and we're not charging money for your time either. You know, the Mona Lisa took about 12 years to finish. It's insured for about $800 million. If I spend 24 years painting a woman's face, that does not mean that that painting is going to be twice as much as the Mona Lisa. So we're not exchanging work and we're not exchanging time. What we're exchanging is value. I've got more money than time. You've got more time than money. We both have something of value and we both have something that we want. So who determines that freshly cut grass has $40 worth of value? Who actually sets the price? Well, in a free society, a capitalist society, we both do. You could charge $400 to mow my lawn, but I'm not going to pay $400. You're not the only person out there mowing lawns. you're overvaluing a mowed lawn at $400. Charge that much, and other people will do it for less, and I mean a lot less. How much less? Well, let's say I wanted to pay you $1 to mow my lawn. You wouldn't do it. That would be undervaluing a mowed lawn. So you want to raise the value of mowing the lawn, I want to lower it, and $40 is the neighborhood where we're both more or less happy. Now, these two track shoes cost more or less the same amount of materials and labor to make, but this Champion men's C9 costs $29 at Target. The Nike Lab Air Zoom lists for $250. Now, the person who sets the price of both pairs of these shoes is you. Money means that you get to decide whether to mow 1 yard and get the Target shoes or mow 7 yards to get the Nikes. Money isn't good and money isn't evil because money doesn't care who owns it. Money doesn't care if you're black or white, old or young, straight or gay, conservative or liberal, a kind mother or a museum-grade bastard. Money flows to where the demand is. In a free market, in a free society, the person who decides what is in demand is you. And in a capitalist country, the person who gets to decide where to exchange the stored value of all of those lawns that you mowed is you. Well, there you go. That's pretty much it. I think this is exactly the kind of thing that we need to be doing with young people. We need to break down everything about this country and how it works into single issues and make it clear to them why this country is such a miracle. They've been so indoctrinated for so long. That's the bad news. The good news is they never heard this before. It just opens so many eyes. And we've got two more we'll preview tomorrow and the next day. We've got socialism and capitalism. It's just a very simple argument about what this is. Money is freedom for you. Money is your accumulated work. Money is the effort that you put into living, given to you in liquid form. And if you get to decide where that goes, you get to decide where your effort goes. That's what money allows you to do. If somebody else takes your money, they're taking all of your effort in life and all of your sweat and all the rest of it, and they're spending it on what they want. And the government is now taking half of all those lawns that you mowed and giving you back a 20th of them, and you feel lucky. You know, woohoo, I got my tax refund. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. So anyway, I'd love to hear what you have to say about it in the comments below. These are the kind of programs that we produce at BillWhittle.com. We're going to be heading in a whole new direction now that we don't have to do this rearguard action firing at the progressives as we try to keep them to get their heads down as we make our retreat to regroup in the woods. We can actually counterattack now. And these kind of little, I call them little intellectual hand grenades, little hand grenade messages. It's this. Charlie Kirk's people are fantastic. They're brave people. Charlie Kirk's a wonder. He's a dynamo. Turning Point USA and other groups like College Republicans and Young Americans for Freedom and all the rest. These young conservatives are out there, and they are turned on. They're gutsy. They've got physical and moral courage, and that was back when Obama was president. They're getting a little more respect now that Donald Trump is president, and people, believe it or not, the ones that can be saved through triage, a lot of people want to know what this whole thing's about. You know, we've heard the conservatives were evil and stuff. What do you guys really believe? Well, now we're going to show them. Because of the support of our members, we're able to do programs like this, and I think I got it as clear as I could possibly get it in my head when I saw so many of Charlie Kirk's wonderful, wonderful college kids wearing a button that says, "I heart capitalism." And that takes courage. It takes actual courage to wear something like that today. That's how bad things have gotten. But it occurred to me that when they wear a button that says, "I heart capitalism," the question then becomes, why? Why? Why do you love capitalism? What is it about capitalism you love? Isn't capitalism mean and vicious? Isn't socialism noble and good? Well, we're going to find out tomorrow about whether socialism is noble and good, and on the next day we're going to find out what's so good about capitalism, why capitalism is morally superior to socialism, not why it's just a better economic policy, why it's more fair, more decent, more honest, more just. So we'll have those two for you, and then we're just going to do a bunch more. So if you think you can help us with these, we need your help, and we'd love your help. We have a lot of fun over here. Our members are just so happy to be a part of this. And who am I to deprive you of that experience? So if you want to go to BillWhittle.com and become a member, you can help promote videos like this. You can help make more of them. And the more money we have to promote them, the more people see them. And if you think that that is something that's, well, maybe I don't know if it's really worth the money, just remember this, folks. These young people are coming in to voting age, and they're all socialists. 8 out of 10 of them now. It was 6 out of 10 when I started this. Consider themselves socialists. They're huge on Bernie Sanders. They don't understand anything about anything. So if it doesn't know if, I don't know if this is worth the money. If we don't spend money now stopping these kids from being indoctrinated like this, they are going to vote in people like Bernie Sanders who want to take 90% of the amount of money that you make. So I think 33 cents a day to stop that is a pretty good bargain, but that's just me, of course. And again, memberships are right there at BillWhittle.com. It allows you instant access to all of the members-only benefits, 2 extra right angles and some other shows, and a huge vault of things that are already there, hundreds, if not thousands of videos that are locked out. And mostly, as I say, it lets us get this message out there. So this will be it for Tuesday, the 31st of January. In our last week of being free for everybody, we're going to go to a limited Facebook exposure for the show, and then members only for the rest of it, starting, I think, on Monday, once we figure out how to do that technically, which is a heck of a challenge, believe it or not. By the way, if you go to BillWhittle.com now, you'll see my latest article for Daily Wire. Daily Wire is going to be promoting all of these videos. They have a tremendously efficient, tremendously powerful organization over there. We've made an agreement where we're going to ride on their expertise. In exchange for that, I'm going to write an article either a day, or I'm going to see if I can talk them into 3 times a week, because I'm pretty overworked now. What are we putting out now, Neil? We put out 3 videos a day, 2 or 3 videos a day, something like that. At least 3, I think. That's not bad for 3 people. Well, and a part-time bookkeeper. That's the staff here. So give us the tools and we'll finish the job. Anyway, thanks again for joining us on Bill Whittle Live this Tuesday, 31st of January. We will be back tomorrow on Wednesday, February 1st, with whatever latest horror or outrage is dominating the news. And we'll also have part 2 of this series, which will be socialism. So if you want to learn about why that's bad, tomorrow's the place to be here. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Be careful. Take care of yourselves. Love your country. Love each other. But keep your guard up, because there's some bad guys out there. And we will see you tomorrow.